The High Court has granted leave to Syarikat Dhaya Maju-LTAT for a judicial review to challenge the discontinuance from resuming the project and also stopping the tender process. DML is the contractor of Klang Valley Double Tracking 2. DML named the government and the Transport Minister as defendants in the judicial review application, where it is seeking permission to have the merits of the case heard in full. The company is seeking declarations that the defendants' decision to cancel the KDVT2 project and to subsequently reopen the tender for the project are invalid, null and void. DML is also applying for a stay of the government's decision to terminate the contract and assess the damages of its action. In the supporting affidavit to the application, the company stated that during its meeting with Transport Minister Wee Ka Siong last year, the minister had purportedly asked the company to subcontract the KDVT2 project to a China company. Wee has dismissed the claim on Facebook. Think Tang Institute for Democracy and Economic Affairs is concerned over a recent statement made by the Prime Minister that the government is lacking funds. This is after implementing the various COVID-19 induced stimulus packages and the increased 600 billion ringgit budget. In a statement, it said that while Ideas recognises the lengths to which the government took, the statement that the funds came directly from its coffers is a misrepresentation of where the money came from. Ideas CEO Putrajaya says that PM Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin's recent statements about the country's apparent insolvency is concerning and that it may also affect international investors' perceptions at a time when attracting FDI is more important than ever. In addition, Yeo says Muhyiddin's comments may potentially negatively impact the government's debt servicing obligations as investors may begin to question Malaysia's ability to meet debt obligations. According to Ideas research, only 23% or 79 billion of the 340 billion worth of stimulus packages passed were directly from the government. Of that, only 65 billion or 20% were direct expenditures. Ideas also pointed out that the government had also relied on statutory bodies, development finance institutes and social security agencies to avoid taking funds directly from its own balance sheets. In fact, the largest initiative in the stimulus packages was the moratorium on loan repayments, which took up 30% of the packages at 100 billion ringgit. Sarawak-based Reservoirlink Energy has been appointed as one of the panel umbrella contractors by Petronas. This is for the provision of completion of a new technology equipment and services. In a BOS filing, the company explains that the appointment shall be valid for 5 years from the date of the letter of appointment, which was signed on December 11, 2020. Reservoirlink's ED Tian Chet Chai says that the company is thrilled at the appointment and that it would contribute positively to earnings. He adds that the group is optimistic about the oil and gas market in the long run following several contract wins and steady oil prices. Earlier this week, the company had announced that it had secured a 3-year contract from Petronas Carigali for well repair services. Barakah Offshore Petroleum is proposing to undertake a private placement of up to 167.16 million new shares, equivalent to 20% of its existing issued shares, to raise up to 14.29 million ringgit. The shares will be placed to independent third-party investors to be identified soon at an issue price to be determined later. According to the BOS filing, based on an illustrative issue price of 8.55 cent per placement share, it would represent a discount of 10% to the 5-day volume-weighted average market price of the shares up to and including the last practicable date. Barakah closed 5% up today at 11 cent. The bulk of the funds, some 13.63 million, will be used for working capital, including 9.54 million for salaries and 4.09 million for operating and administrative expenses. The group is expecting to complete this exercise by the second quarter. Barakah is currently in the midst of formulating a plan to regularize its PN17 status. Petronas and Sapura OMV are said to be among the potential buyers of a non-operated equity stake in the Dorado oil project and Bedout exploration portfolio offshore Western Australia, according to portal Energy Voice. Santos, which owns an 80% share of Dorado, plans to sell a 20 to 30% stake in the project, which is estimated by Syarikat Energy to be worth up to $200 million. The portal describes Dorado as a shallow water oil and gas development with around 150 million barrels of contingent resources, which is expected to cost $2 billion to develop. The portal quoted Simon Molyneux, MD of Perth-based upstream consultancy Molyneux Advisors, as saying that potential buyers include the likes of Neptune, Repsol, Pertamina and PTT Exploration and Production, among others. Petronas declined to comment on the report.